former US President Donald Trump has indicated he will not disappear from public life following his acquittal on impeachment charges.
After 5 days of arguments, 7 Republicans joined Democrats for a 57-43 vote in favour of conviction, but failed to reach the two-thirds majority required. In a statement released shortly after the Senate verdict, Mr. Trump says the movement to make America great again has only just begun, and he has much more to share in the months ahead.
Let's go live now to Greg Jennett, who's in Washington. Good morning to you, Greg. Donald Trump has been acquitted for a second time. Take us through the numbers.
So in the end, Joe, it was 7 Republican senators who joined the 50 Democrats in taking the vote, obviously to 57 votes to 43, but that comes up short of the mark required to convict a president under the Constitution using the impeachment processes. That threshold was 67 votes, and 57 doesn't quite get you there. But among the list of 7 Republican senators who did vote that Donald Trump was guilty of the charge of inciting insurrection, there were a couple of surprises. 2 that stand out are Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy and Richard Burr from North Carolina. They hadn't been widely flagging their intentions. The other 5, though, we probably could have predicted with a degree of certainty. They include Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, Susan Collins from Maine, Mitt Romney from Utah, Ben Sasse from the state of Nebraska, and finally Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. In nearly each case there, they were disgusted with the events of the 6th of January when the Capitol was trashed and under siege. They themselves felt victims in all of that, as their staff and themselves personally were put under personal protection in an enclosed crypt within the building for their own safety as the rioters overran the place. So they made up the defectors, if you like, the Republicans prepared to join the Democrats, and still not enough for conviction, though.
And Greg, both sides of the Senate has spoken. Can you take us through their comments?
Yes, so people are finding their voice after having cast their votes, some obviously in the Senate today, but we're also hearing from House Democrats too. Why don't we start with Mitch McConnell? Now, Mitch McConnell is these days the minority Republican leader in the Senate. He has had a few remarks to make after, and it's important we note this, after voting that Donald Trump was, in his opinion, not guilty of the charge of inciting insurrection. Mitch McConnell, nevertheless, proceeded to make some fairly sharply critical remarks about the former president's conduct dating back to the election itself.
There's no question, none, that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. No question about it. The people who stormed this building believed they were acting on the wishes and instructions of their president. But in this case, the question is moot because former President Trump is constitutionally not eligible for conviction.
So a bit of a legal technicality being argued by Mitch McConnell, who went on to suggest that if Donald Trump was still in office, that is, if he had won the election and the Capitol had been overrun in the way it was, he, for one, might have entertained a different vote. But that, too, is also a moot point, isn't it? Why don't we turn now to Nancy Pelosi, though, the Speaker and Democrats' leader, really, in most respects, in the House. She has come out, although only a witness to today's proceedings. She remains sharply critical of Donald Trump, but also of Senate Republicans, not sufficient number of whom came to the party today with this vote.
What we saw in that Senate today was a cowardly group of Republicans who apparently have no options because they were afraid to defend their job, respect the institution in which they served.
And Greg, we had a statement issued from Donald Trump shortly after the verdict. What did he have to say?
Yes, I don't have the precise text in front of me, and I think we can show it to our viewers though, Joe, just so people can absorb it. Having read it just a little earlier before coming in to talk to you though, there is a tone of defiance there. Obviously, Donald Trump derives some satisfaction from the fact that he was not convicted of this. But we also, more importantly, get those vague hints again that Donald Trump doesn't see his own role in public life as being over now. This people's movement, as he calls it, Make America Great Again, that so mobilised so many people and actually had 74 million voting for him back in the November election. He often tantalises and still does with this prospect that it isn't done, that he's still going to be advocating for the causes that he wants to and chooses to in public life. We don't know exactly what that means though. We don't know whether he would, for instance, be seeking to run again for the presidency in 4 years from now. But yes, Donald Trump didn't waste much time in issuing that public statement and all of the prospects that it holds out for his future. Just not clear what they mean though at this point in time.
We shall wait and see. Greg Jennett there in Washington, thanks for your coverage this morning.